is believing. Well, I'd like to turn that phrase to seeing is transforming. The blind person in today's gospel came to see who Jesus was and what he did with eyes of the heart, and through this experience was transformed. Today, we will build on Kathy's beautiful invitation to us last week to notice God's presence. So let's put on our special heart lenses. We'll look at a couple ways that help us focus more deeply, and some life experiences that call us to see and engage transformation. I want to offer two approaches that can help us see more deeply. The first is a contemplative gaze, staying in the moment and looking beneath the surface to the core of our experience creates a portal to the divine, just waiting to be seen. The second is a pause from our personal agenda. It's easy to get caught up in the doing of the day, yet sometimes our God surprises us with a being moment, and our heart needs to be open to that. This happened to me last month when we were in Denver. I was on my way to a neighborhood trail carrying my snowshoes when I ran into a woman named Jennifer. She and I started talking about ordinary topics, such as her Denver Broncos jacket, the snow she was removing from her car, and the neighborhood. The surprise being moment came when she began to share about her 93-year-old dad who had died recently, and that his service was in a few days. As she spoke about their beautiful relationship, how active he was, how much they enjoyed playing golf together, and what she missed about him, I felt the grace of that pause pour into my being. What began as a quite ordinary conversation became a "what just happened here" experience. This was a transforming heart moment that helped me see Jennifer and her dad in a way I never would have experienced had I not had that pause. A contemplative gaze and a pause from our own agenda helps us to see more deeply. Here are a couple of examples where seeing is transforming. The first is about a call to service. This past week, the Philadelphia Inquirer highlighted the journey of a 33-year-old man, Dormick Sheth, a graduate of Temple University and resident of Mercer County, New Jersey, who spent 10 days in Poland in early March, helping Ukrainian refugees. After seeing on TV the devastation of the war in Ukraine and gazing at their tragic circumstances, Sheth said he felt compelled to travel there. He and a few friends brought humanitarian goods, and while in Poland, they made tents, distributed supplies, and carried the bags of people who had just crossed the border to their camps, which were another half-mile away. He also offered spiritual support as he sang a prayer in Hindi, along with a woman who had been playing a guitar and singing Polish prayers. Together, their music and spiritual songs brought peace to the chaos that was around them. These ordinary actions of giving out supplies, singing songs, and carrying people's bags became extraordinary ones because Chef saw these people with the eyes of the heart. He touched into their suffering and needs, and his seeing was transformed into loving action. One experience summed up his time there. He and his friends helped watch two children of a woman who needed to make a phone call. They didn't speak a common language, so Chef drew an outline of a heart in the dirt. The mother then drew a second heart, and one of the children a third. In Chef's words, the least we could offer was love. Seeing the common language of love come to life in so many ways was transforming. As each of us contemplates our own call to serve, whether in our family, neighborhood, faith community, or beyond, how is God nudging our heart to see more deeply and be transformed? A second illustration is a personal one and relates to a life transition. When Stan and I decided to downsize and move from our home of 46 years, I had no idea the magnitude of that decision. As a hiker, I have to rate this trail as difficult. The earth has been quaking beneath my feet, and it's taken some athletic maneuvers to maintain my balance. Some successful and some not so much. We knew it would be a challenge to shed our possessions and only keep those that would fit in a house half the size of our present one. But that's only part of the story. Although it was often sheer drudgery to go through files, binders, and books, it was also a graced time. As I connected with memories through photos, writings, and programs, gazing on these items helped me remember in my heart people I hadn't thought about in decades. People from Girl Scouts, high school, college, and work. At another and perhaps deeper level, this is a letting go of a place that allowed our children to grow up and mature into adulthood. A place that held laughter and camaraderie of celebrations, as well as tears of sadness and embraces of comfort in times of loss. A place that is in a neighborhood that is family to us. A place whose backyard liturgies resumed all over the United States and the world, thanks to you, our Mary Magdalene community. In the challenge of letting go, in the sadness of leaving, and in the excitement of the new chapter that awaits, God has been drawing me to pause and gaze more deeply at what this means and be transformed. I do want to give a shout out to Terry Shields for something that she shared with me a few years ago when she was moving. She said when she had to give away a book or an item that was important to her, she would look at that book and say, thank you, and then pass it along to someone else. Thank you so much, Terry, for those words of wisdom. They have been a great help. This move, which touches every dimension of my being, is an invitation to take a deep heart dive into letting go and gratitude. See what is there and allow the gift of transformation to unfold. As we each consider our own life transitions, whether they be of place, relationship, health, or employment, how is God inviting us to see and be transformed? This week, as we continue our Lenten journey, be sure to pause, contemplate, and see with the eyes of our heart, for seeing is transforming. I close with these words from John of the Cross in today's second reading. Let us go forth together to see ourselves in God's beauty.